Hello, whyandhoww family. Today we have a special hero, Max, a boy who solved a 30-year-ago mystery. You'll not believe what's happened. 13-year-old Max Warenka was always a curious child. I always like to question things, he told CTV News, but was he aware that what he had stumbled upon was a lot more gruesome than he could have ever anticipated? Before we move on, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notifications bell for new amazing videos. The young man wasn't looking to solve a mystery or a potential crime when he went on a boat ride on Griffin Lake, but fate had set him on that path anyway. So, with destiny on his shoulder, he went out to see what was there, not realizing he was going to find more than he bargained for. The family spent every summer on their boat at the same lake, so they were extremely familiar with the area. Max Warenka regularly carried his GoPro with him when he wandered the popular holiday resort. On this particular day, he was chatting to another family staying at the lake when they spotted an unusual shadowy figure under the surface of the water and asked the teenager to take a picture with his GoPro. What he would find would shock all. After noticing the strange reflection of what appeared to be a shiny metal, 13-year-old Warenka pushed his paddleboard closer to the mysterious object and jumped into the lake to begin his investigation. Upon reaching the spot in question, he shockingly discovered that the mysterious glistening object was in fact a car. The teenager's discovery of a car at the bottom of this remote lake sparked a lot of questions and concerns for the residents of the holiday park, and his family did an internet search to find out why there was a car submerged beneath Griffin Lake. Interestingly, they learned of an accident 10 years before where a car had crashed into a lake during which 4 people were rescued. He researched and there had been an accident in 2009, and we initially assumed it was a leftover vehicle from the people who were rescued, Nancy Warenka told Today, but she was very wrong. She just didn't know it yet. The day after the teenager's discovery, an off-duty police officer and his family visited the resort. Max's mother, Nancy, was chatting with the officer when the topic of the previous day's findings came up. She mentioned how it was strange that the car was never retrieved from the water, but the police officer was sure that the car from the 2009 accident had in fact been removed from the lake. On August 21, 2019, a team of officers showed up on the lake to carry out an investigation into the mysterious vehicle lying beneath the water. And Max played a key role in the investigation with his first-hand account of what he saw, but also with the evidence he provided from his GoPro. The teenager led the officers to an area that was about 10 feet away from the western shore of the lake that hugged the highway. However, the water conditions were murky, which made it difficult for the officers to inspect the car from the surface of the lake. Determined to get answers and, of course, evidence, the teenager helped the officers gather clues by diving into the water with his GoPro, capturing clear footage of the car. The video footage captured by Max showed a car covered in a thick coat of mud and vegetation. Marine life had even begun growing inside the car, so it was obvious that the vehicle had been submerged in the water for quite some time. So, how did it end up at the bottom of the lake? 3 days after Max Warenka provided the authorities with video footage of the car, investigators began their search for answers and brought in experienced divers to take a closer look at the car. What they would discover would shock the residents of Griffin Lake cabins and reopen an unsolved case after almost 30 years. Apparently, the car was registered to Janet Ferris, a 69-year-old woman who was reportedly missing by her family back in 1992. Ferris's case had surprisingly never been solved, and her family were left in limbo about her disappearance for almost 30 years. The mystery of what happened to Ferris had haunted her family for decades, but they never imagined that a boy 14 years after her disappearance would finally close this cold case for authorities. But first, the vehicle had to be raised. The police returned to the scene a few days after, and they didn't come alone. They brought a tow truck and a dive team to help them raise the sunken vehicle from its watery grave. Interestingly enough, the car did not look as if anybody tried to escape from it, as all of its windows and doors were closed shut. Tragically, the mystery behind the missing woman's case was solved as investigators found the remains of a body inside the car. I think the worst thing was not knowing, Ferris's son told CBC. But now that her body had been discovered, he and the family were finally able to move on. Given a sad situation, it's the best of all outcomes, he added. Given the fact that she was 69 when she vanished all those years ago, the family knew that they would never see her again. They also accepted that she had passed away somewhere on the highway, but they didn't know how until now. Since the discovery of Ferris's body, her family have spoken about the grief and how fond memories of their mother and grandmother helped them to cope through the years. The family had since expressed their appreciation to Max and his family for finally giving them the opportunity to lay Janet to rest. According to her son, Ferris was cremated and placed next to her husband, who sadly passed away back in 1984. Now the family will finally be able to move forward and put the past behind them and keeping the memories of their loved one alive in their hearts. I'm just sad for the family. They are happy and relieved knowing what happened, Nancy told People, and added, "This is giving them closure, I hear. I pray for them and I'm sad about what they've gone through." Although Ferris's body was found at the bottom of the lake, authorities found nothing to indicate that her timely passing was the result of foul play. If anything, it was just a case of bad luck, which resulted in a very tragic story for a beloved lady. In an interview with Global News, Janet Ferris's granddaughter shared how grateful she was to the teenager and his GoPro for revealing her grandmother's whereabouts after all of these years. For 27 years, her family struggled to put the past behind them until the day a 13-year-old accidentally brought them the closure they needed. It seemed like there was never an appropriate way to grieve because she was missing. I remember thinking about what her last moments would have been like if her car did go off the road. Ferris's granddaughter, Erin Ferris Hartley, told Global News. Meanwhile, the teen's mother couldn't be prouder of her boy and felt that he was destined to help authorities find Ferris. It was a complete string of flukes, she told People. It was like it was meant to happen. It just all aligned. Max can now call himself a leading figure in the solving of this mysterious old case. As a result of his courage and impressive camera skills, the teenager earned the respect of the authorities and even landed himself a job offer for the future with RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. After all, the previous owners of Griffin Lake Cabin spent 17 years exploring the lake but never came across a submerged car, and Max did. Nancy told Today that Ferris's family may come back to the lake next spring or summer to meet the boy who found their missing loved one. There will undoubtedly be plenty of hugs and thanks coming to this young adventurer's way in the not-so-distant future. Did you like the story? Check out our channel for more.